How come we can't see the chat?
I can.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Hey guys. Not sure if we're live yet.
We are.
Oh, I just got a reminder. Sleuth Syndicate is live. Thank you. Trying to figure out who people are. Hi, Sleuthy by proxy. Hi, where am I? Susan? Hey guys.
What?
Who is where am I? I don't know.
Jamie.
Anyways. Oh, okay. That's usually your line, so I was like so confused. See who else is here. Hi, 303 Sleuthing. How's it going? Say hi if you're here. I moved inside tonight, guys, because it finally warmed up and my patio is blazing hot. Hi, Bailey Purdue. Hi, Steph. Hi, Felicia. Hi, K-Mama. Hi, Anal's next. Just going to get it out of the way now so that everybody can go talk about it later. Yes, I'm fat. No, I don't care. Hi, Kenneth Adams. I like food. And it's fine. Hi, J. John. That sign is what we're going to cover first. Hi, Jim Merrick from Meridian. We love the Meridian. Hi, Vanilla Iced. Sista Donka. Until your sleepy meds kick in. We'll try to make it before you pass out. Hi, Mary Grace. Thank you. Hi, Angelia. Okay, are we ready? Currently eating a quesadilla, so don't fret. I know, I just ate fried chicken. It was not very good, though. Hi, Julie Mattingly. Okay, so what that sign is what I talked about last week. How whenever I think about Christian, I think about that sign that was shown on Apartment 801, and they spoke on it on Culpable. And so we got an actual picture of it. And then I thought this week because we're going to start every week talking about Christian, about who he was and how, from people that knew him. And I thought, what better way could we describe Christian from the messages on that sign? So we broke it up into messages, like sections, so that I could get closer and read it. So I'm going to read it from those. Sorry if my phone's in my hand. That's what I'm reading from. I thought we would just read some of the messages that were on the board that explained how each person felt about Christian. We won't be reading the name of the person because I just don't feel like that's our place to do so. Just wanted to get the point of who he was. So let's see. There's one that says, "Thank you for being the person you were, always making everyone smile." And I'm sorry, I read these out loud 5 times so that I could get the tears out. If I cry, I'm sorry. I'm a baby. It's just who I am. There's one that says, "You will truly be missed. You brought laughter and joy to so many. You will be missed by all. Love and miss you. Love you, miss you. Miss picking at you." I like that one. "Gonna miss you. That laugh. See you again sometime." They're already getting me. Sorry. I'm trying. "You could always light up a room. You always could make us laugh. I will miss you so much. I will miss you so much, sweet angel. You were precious. Love you. Always love ya, buddy. I'll never forget your wonderful spirit and your kindness. I'll miss you and your friendship and all of the memories. I love you, brother. Will always remember you. Working on seawalls and Boat houses will never be the same. Love you forever, man. We used to do a lot of crazy things together. I'll always remember that smile. I love you, cuz. Sorry. I'm so lucky to have met someone like you. Never a dull moment. Love you. I don't. Some of these obviously have inside meanings, but they made me laugh. But this one said, "quote Jaeger for the flavor." Quote Christian. Don't know what it means, but I'm sure it's hilarious. Androck, you will always continue to make me smile just thinking of all the great funny times we had. I told you this sign was an awesome move. So whoever helped him get this sign obviously knew. Okay, this one kills me. I'm not going to say who it's from, but I'm sure you guys can take a guess. It says forever in my heart, always and forever. You could always make me laugh, even when you were making fun of me. You always lit up a room. I'll miss you making fun of everything I said. Fly high, Christian. You will be missed. Oh, I can't see. Sorry. Hate to know you gone so soon. I'll always remember the haunted house. Till we meet again. Hey, brother. I love you, man. You was the coolest nephew an uncle could ask for. I'm very proud of you. Keep those clouds rocking, buddy. You are loved. Gonna miss you. Thank you for all the memories and fun times. I'll always remember you, bud. Okay, I think that's all I can read right now. I think the point came across that he made everybody laugh and that he was and is deeply missed by many. That sign is, as you can see, it's huge. It says bridge out, miles ahead, local traffic only. I'm sure I can't even guess how big it is. I should have asked, but it's full. It's full of
Love.
Yeah, it's full of love, and it's full of people who genuinely knew and cared about him. So that's that, and we just really wanted people to see, like I said last week, that has always just really stood out to me in my mind. And so then when I thought about what we were going to do to honor Christian this week, I was like, I want to get that sign. Like, I want a picture of it so we can read those messages. Whew, okay, that's behind us. So, I need to make a correction from last week. We want to stand by the fact that we are presenting the truth. We want to stand by the fact we will give you facts. And if we're wrong, we are okay being corrected. And so it was pointed out that we were wrong. And Dylan called Whitley before Christian texted him and told him not to tell her. Susan knows the times.
7:39 is when Christian texted Dylan to say not to, and Dylan called her at 5:03.
So I was wrong and we misspoke when we said that he called after Christian said not to. That being said, we'll correct that. That being said, it has been said for the last 7 years that Dylan and Whitley were not friends. They had no sort of friendship. And it was also said recently that Dylan and Christian didn't even talk for months prior to Christian's death. And so if that's the actual truth, then why was he calling Whitley at 5 o'clock in the morning while he was driving to pick Christian up? Without Christian having to tell him to not say something, it's just odd. It was just an odd phone call to make. 2 of them. She didn't answer, but it was just an odd phone call to make. So that's corrected. And like I said, we apologize for the mistake, and we're human, and we will correct what we can if we need to. So what we're going over next is the text messages. It's a lot. This is going to be so just stay with us. I'll get through it as fast as I can. I'm going to have to flip between my iPad and my phone because it's in a Dropbox, and I didn't want to print all the pages out because it's literally thousands of text messages. Yeah. So we're not reading all 1,000 text messages or however many are in there. But what we want to do is we want to, at this moment, make note of the fact that we have never hidden. There hasn't been a podcast, a TV show, nothing. I mean, it was and what I'm referring to right now are the text messages that refer to self-harm. Nobody's hidden it. It's been displayed for all to see. It's been in groups. It's been posted in groups. It's been posted multiple times online. Some of them were touched on in Culpable. They were touched on in Apartment 801. They were displayed on screen in 48 hours. I just rewatched it this last weekend, and while it wasn't the actual own redaction, it was quoted on screen what he said. Crime Watch Daily referred to those text messages. They're there. They are. We're not avoiding it. We're not hiding it. Everybody knows about them. If you have any questions about them, you're more than welcome to ask. We are not going to put them on our screen. They deserve no light. They don't have anything to do with Christian's death, in our opinion, and we have every right to feel that way. We're entitled opinions. And so that's what they are. They are what they are, right? They exist. Point blank, period, end of story. So now what we're going to do is, since those have needed to be on display, we thought it was only fair that other text messages were on display. And we also won't be putting these on the screen. I'm just going to read from them. And like we've said before, if you want to see something, just ask. Why we're not putting them on the screen is because a lot of redaction needs to happen in this case file. And there's a lot of swear words, and we just didn't feel it was appropriate to put them on the screen. Besides that, they're itty bitty, and you guys wouldn't have seen. I mean, we would have had to blow up line by line by line by line. Like, it just would have been ridiculous. And so we're just not. I mean, I'm making excuses for why we're not, but we're not. So, and of course my iPad just messed up. So let me go back. Okay. So what we're hitting on is we want to show the relationship that Willie and Christian had. We want to show that he was responsible, that he was happy, and that the self-harm texts are a very, how did you put it earlier, Susan?
There's only a handful of suicidal texts out of thousands of text messages between the two. And some happened, ironically, on the 26th of January, just a month prior. So
the 29th.
But some of them were the 26th.
Oh, okay, sorry. See, we don't always agree. Okay, I'm trying to make this bigger on my iPad, and it keeps going back to a different page, so I'm just not going to make it bigger.
But also when they're in those text messages, right before they happen, everything's honky-dory between them, and typically right after they happen, everything's honky-dory between them. And he also claimed some things a month prior and still came home. They went out to the mountains. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't kill himself. Everything was fine. They're just text messages. Nothing more.
Okay, there's one that I want to read that I think we've all seen, and it doesn't flow well in the conversation, so I'm not sure. I don't know if she sent him like a photo. Anyways, it's the one where she's referring to a gun, and he says, "Baby, what the hell do you need a scope for? It's a pistol. You shoot stuff up close with that. You ain't sniping someone, plus that probably close to $2,500. So they were discussing her getting a scope for a pistol. which is odd, right? Okay, so these are the ones I want to read off of this page. He starts by saying, not what I wanted to hear. She says, what did you want to hear? He says, the only thing I can do at this point, or no, she says, the only thing I can do at this point is prove myself. There's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can do besides move forward. You didn't want me to leave, so in order for us to stay together, I have to do what's right. You don't deserve to be dragged through the mud. I love you. I'm tired of this. I'm so tired. And I know you're exhausted too. We won't make it this way if you want to spend, and I want to spend it forever with you. I want to marry you, and even if you do stick with me through the bullshit, and even more to come, it's not a healthy relationship. I will do what it takes to make this a good relationship, because at this point, all you'll be able to think back to is bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Nothing good will come of us if I keep hurting you because you're turning cold. We will be like Aunt Shaw and Ivy, and I can't do it. I don't want to make you hurt anymore. I want to make you happy, and I don't right now. You deserve to be happy just as much as I do, if not more. And right now, we aren't happy, and I want to be happy. If we aren't going to break up, we have to move forward. I love you so much. I know this is hard for you, but if you want us to work, you have to work with me, and it's not your place to mend my fuck ups. But work with me. I'll fix us, Christian. I won't lie. I can't anymore. We can't afford it. I'm gonna read his reply, and then we can discuss this one. I've been all I can. This is his reply. I've been doing all I can. I'm just here now. I don't feel like you take me or us serious, because if you did, you wouldn't chance what we have. But all I want is to make you happy. I've accepted my happiness isn't important. Not to you, and apparently not to me either, because I keep letting you push me down over and over. Okay, so what I wanted to touch on there is her words are, in my opinion, manipulation. She's like saying I'm a fuck up so that he will say, no, you're not. That, that sort of thing. Like,
Yep.
Like it's like when a woman says, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly, so that people will say, no, you're not. It's just like a boost to the ego.
Trying to get a compliment, trying to get the other person to feel bad or whatever.
Right. So then I'm going to go to and these ones are pretty much just proving like all of the things that Christian did for Whitley. Like, he did a ton for Whitley. And, it's always portrayed as she didn't need him to do a ton. She had her own way. She was making her own way. And we're going to prove that wrong, right? So he says, I have bent over backwards, chased you and hunted you all hours of the night. I have spent day in and day out doing anything and everything I can do to make you happy, to make you healthy. I've driven myself and went against everybody to help you become a human with feelings. I have stood and watched you leave me over and over, lie to my face over and over. I have never walked away. I have never stepped back. You want to tell me about how much you have put forward. I have never loved anyone in my entire life but you. I have never let anyone treat me the way you have. I have never took hit and waited for the next time, just waiting for it to come. And then he said, you have changed into a person instead of an animal. You have given nothing and gained everything. You have not sacrificed anything. And if you have, let me hear it. And then there must have been a phone call, because there's a huge break in their communication. And there's no reply from her. So when we see those sort of breaks, we believe that there's phone calls. We could, line item it and verify, but typically that's what it is. Like, they had a phone conversation. 613. And like I said, these are just showing, like, he would tell her, I'm trying to help you make your life better, and you're just pissing it away, essentially. That's how I'm reading it. Like, here's all these things that I'm helping you do. I'm helping you go to school. I'm giving you a vehicle. I give you a place to live. I buy you food. I buy you, things that you need. And you're off messing around.
It's like he's 100% for her and she's minus 50%.
Right. Okay. These ones are, I'm going to have to read a lot, so bear with me. And I'll tell you her. Where did it go? Okay, so he starts it with, this lying bullshit is getting old. You know that, though. And then she replies, that was fucking doo-doo. I don't know if I can cuss on here. Should I just say effing?
I think you can cuss, but
okay.
Do what you want.
Okay. And then she said, I'm not lying. And he said, y'all say what you want. My sister ain't stupid. She said, hey to Ethan. And he said, hey back when he was on the phone in the driveway. Yeah, you probably didn't want to stop by the beach because someone would say they saw you with Ethan and Josh. Then he wrote again, said your phone ain't dead, but you won't answer a message. And then he wrote again and said, all I'm saying is y'all said y'all was at your house. I had someone go, he said bully there, but I think he means by there. And there wasn't anyone there. They ride by the beach and saw his truck not that long after you told me y'all was at your house. So what's the deal? Why lie to me? I don't get it. Why not answer the phone? Then this is, okay, and in the redaction, there's no, in this chain of messages, there's no to from. And that's because it jumps over into the iMessage portion. And so it's very hard. Like when I was line iteming all of these, it was, anyways, there's another person in this conversation that jumps in and says, look, bruh, I'm taking her home. And then he wrote to her again and said, all I'm saying is why lie to me? And then she said, call me a liar then. And he said, you can say what you want, bruh. I do everything you have ever asked of me. Why lie? I'm not mad. That's what you all don't understand. I'm hurt, man. So I'm thinking he's talking to whoever the male was in this conversation. And I believe that person was Dylan. Or it could have been the Josh that he's referring to. It's not his brother. And then he says, and mind you, this was back in June of 2013. So that's why I believe that it was Dylan. And then this person says, Whitley is good to you. She's finally got her shit straight from what I understand. And then Christian replies and says, did I say she was unfaithful? And then that person said, she's not doing anything to fuck you over. And then Christian said, so why can't she be honest? And then that person said, how has she lied? Christian said, she told me she was going home at like 7. It's 11. She would answer a text, then she wouldn't answer the phone. And then this person said, we went to my house. Her phone was dying. And then Christian said, why was Ethan's truck at the beach then after you told me you was at your house? See, that's why I also think it was Dylan. I don't know. It could be, like I said. Then there's a picture message sent, and the person says, what are you talking about? And then that person said, I don't know what you're talking about, man. We did what we told you we was going to do. And then Christian said, you told me I wouldn't take Xanax again. And I believe he means you. You told me you love me, but you don't. You told me you didn't hang out with them. You told me you weren't going to do a lot of things, Whitley. You don't love me. You got Ethan and Josh to take care of you now. They're all yours. I hope they treat you as good as I did. I hope Xanax can make you feel as good as I did. And then Whitley replies again finally and says, I really do. I love you, but I'm so afraid of telling you the truth because I can't lose you. Please don't go. Don't give up on me. I told you I don't want anyone else but you. She writes again, I'm sorry. I told you I'm no good. That don't mean I don't love you. And then there's one that's really out of place. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that these texts just jump. It says, I pulled it back up to wish my real dad happy Father's Day. And then Christian said, thought he was in jail. She said he is. I told his wife to let him, but to wait a day like a day late, just like my month late birthday card, since he really doesn't even know my birthday. And Christian said, oh. So I think what they were talking about was her profile picture. She changed it that night of her to her and her dad. And Christian was like, why did you change your profile picture? Why did you change it from us? Then he said, my sister messaged me saying you changed your profile pic, that we must have been broke up. I said, nah, I didn't even know she had one. I thought she deleted it. She said, just now, changed her picture. What happened? I don't like this. And then she wrote back and said, what? He said, the way we're being, it scares me. He said, I don't know. Or no, she said, the way we're being, it scares me. I don't know. He said, do you not want this, Whitley? She said, don't be scared to lose, or he said, don't be scared to lose me, Whitley. I told you just need to see yourself for what you are. Let your image and what people that don't even know you say affect the way you look at yourself and make you just not give a fuck. And you can't be in a relationship and not care. That's not how it works. Because when I wouldn't want you doing something, I know sometimes you try to act like it's not a big deal. Well, if it's not, then why lie? Sorry, give me a second. You have to lie. I think he's saying, if you have to lie, then you already know that it's something I don't want you to do. Do you see where I am coming from? She said, yes. We rode from my house around Dalewood to Lauderdale and back to my house. He said, do you blame me? She said, no. He said, just don't see why you don't tell me stuff. That's all. And she said, all we've had was small talk when I was supposed to. And then he says, start doing right and I'll rip the papers up. I don't want anything to happen to us. What papers?
I don't know.
That's odd. Then he said, I understand you told me you was with Claire and all, but why not just tell me everything you know? Seems like you're trying to hide from shit. And then the conversation jumps again and it's all over. Like, yeah, you can definitely see how much he cares. Like, this is a lot of that. It's a lot of that. You can see how much he cares about her. She messes up. He calls her on her shit. She says, I'm a terrible person. They make up.
And he tries to pump her back up. He calls her on his shit, on her shit, and then he still gives her that, it's okay, let's do better type of stuff. He's her biggest cheerleader.
Purely speculation here, but could the papers be his life insurance policy?
I don't know.
The papers? What? I mean, they were in a new relationship at that point, right? June of 2013. What papers could it have been?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And while these text messages, they're awful. This is how he spent his last months in this god-awful relationship. I feel so bad for him. That's how he spent his last days. And you can't deny the fact that these texts prove that she could not be faithful. Okay, this one I purposely put in because this, I believe, is the last time Christian talked to Dylan or Dylan was brought up. It was June 13th of 2013. And she says, Dylan was saying how proud of me he is earlier, how I've been trying to be good to you and do things in our best interest. But Dylan didn't know Whitley. Page 620. Okay. This is a lot too, so I'm going to just highlight some of the text because it's a lot to read. I'm sorry, I have allergies, so my voice is. Ugh. I don't know if I should read this, but this is funny. Okay, so. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not reading those. Those are about Dylan talking about Whitley's grandma. I'm
Oh,
not going there. I'm not going there. Okay, so then through that conversation up, um, he says, I'm going to buy you some pretty titties one day, maybe a graduation present. And she says, does GED graduation count? He
gosh.
says, you're not dropping out, Whitley. He doesn't care about her, though, right? He says, you don't fucked up and let me see all A's on a report card. And then she must have sent a photo because then he said, that's ridiculous that you failed and you're that smart. Kind of pisses me off, but it is what it is. Next year, you're cracking down all A's and cheerleading. Keep your little ass busy and focused. No one else may give a fuck, but I do, baby girl. I mean, come on. Come on.
He
He's
cares
21.
more than her own family does.
Right. She said, I know I'm not, but I don't want to have to do 5 years of high school when cosmetology requires a GED or a high school diploma. Then he said, Whitley, you told me you wanted to be a journalist. Why would you kill your options? Why not graduate? Why rush? She sent him a photo about her hair and makeup. Then she said, I did, but hair and makeup is what I'm best at. I'm pretty sure I've burnt so many brain cells that I can't even complete a thought anymore, but I see what you're saying. And then he said, I love money, babe, but not as much as I love you. You just need this job. Oh, but need this job so I can one day put you in a nice house with whatever phone and car you want. And then they're just talking, like, they're making promises. Like, she's going to go to school. He's going to, at 23, be making over $100,000 a year with a month-long vacation every other month. I'm pretty sure that's when he was, working towards being a captain. They're just making promises with each other. She says, so when is the porch wedding? Then she texts him and says, someone said Alexa is at the beach hanging all over some 20-year-old. But we're led to believe that she wasn't riling Christian up when it came to Alexa, right? There's proof right here. And then there's more of she lied about where she was. She was supposed to be at her friend Claire's house. She wasn't there. Then there's more I'm sorry's and I love yous. I need to remember this one. Not for right now. Sorry, guys. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so then she says, I want you to understand I'm not Avery. I don't go to church. I like to get fucked up, and I refuse to put a front on for anyone. I'm being careful now and trying to put my life back together and have strayed away from so many people that I hardly have anyone left, and I'm happy with that. But last night, I had bought, I think this is Dylan, but she says Dilly, D-Y-L-Y, a bunch of Vicodin, and it was Saturday night, and I never do shit during the week, and I just felt like getting high. Used to, I just smoke, but that's too risky now. I'm sorry I worry you. I would just want me and you to be happy at the same time, and I wish you'd believe me when I say I'm still trying to do right. I just wanted to get Xantastic and kill some zombies last night, not do bath salts and eat my family. I think that you guys are getting the point with these. I'm hoping that I don't have to read everything. These are brutal. And if you can't see the manipulation, if you can't see the drug use, if you can't see that she didn't care about anybody but herself, I don't know what you can't see. Okay. Does it mean you're old when you have to like pull your stuff away from your face? Okay, so there's this one. Okay, so these were after Christian died, and when I was going through the redacted iPhone report, if you guys need to take, like, if family's watching, if you need to take a minute and not listen to these, I would totally understand. But these just kind of also prove that people didn't know, people had no idea that Christian would have even had an inkling of self-harm in him. And I thought that they were kind of important to read. And this is from the same person that we pointed out last week that had text Christian at 11. What time was it, Susan? Bongo?
11:38.
And he didn't reply to. So these are from
20 minutes after he got home.
So that night, people are texting Christian's phone. Actually, no, this isn't from Bongo. This is, I don't know who this is from, but it's somebody on the boat. We'll have to find out who this is, and I'll clear it up next week, I promise. So it says, lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys. There's one that says, "Hey, man." Oh, wait. I have to remember that they go from top to bottom.
From
it says,
bottom
"Answer
to top, you mean?"
Yeah, bottom to top, sorry. "Answer your fucking phone, Christian. I know you're not gone. You've cheated death so many times. Stop fucking around, man. We're moving to Charlotte, bro. I told you that the other day. Why the hell are you playing dead? Call me when you get yourself straight. Love you, bro. See you when I get home."
Isn't that Josh?
Oh, yeah, it must be Josh. It just doesn't say it because it's not in his phone. Then right after that says, "Why are you doing this, man? Stop fucking about and answer your phone." And then a little bit later, "You're just going to get us on the same crew change, aren't you? Haha, that's going to be awesome, man. They're letting me off. We can go to NOLA or something when I get home, bro. Get drunk as fuck and have some fun. Haha." And then, "Hey, man, this isn't funny anymore. Just call me back or text me ASAP. They're getting me off the boat, so whatever your plan was, work. Just stop fucking around, man." So yeah, that is Josh. I'm sorry. His own brother thought he was messing around. Like, come on. Come on.
We definitely know him much better than Whitley or Dylan.
Talk to him day in and day out through text messages because you can see it.
Knew him his whole life.
Yeah. And I'm sorry for anybody listening. Those were tough. When I was reading them earlier, I was like, oh boy, but they needed to be pointed out. They just did. And then somebody asked, like, so he was obviously telling people he was getting off the boat. I think this is Josh too, maybe. But it says, "Well, do what you got to do, man. If shit goes south, I got you. You helped me stay afloat while I was down, so I got you. But what do you plan in doing when you get back, man? Are you trying to catch Whitley doing something, or does she know you're coming home, or what?" So that just proves that Josh knew that he was going home to throw her out. You know, like
the only people that say he was coming home to quit his job or whatever are Whitley and Dylan. Every single other person has said that he was going home to kick her out.
Right.
And also, I wanted to make a note. There was someone who said there was no record of Christian calling his other friend from the boat to get a ride. I want to say this one more time, very clear. It's not in the phone records because he used somebody else's phone. That person did an interview. It's out there. So stop saying it's not true, that it didn't happen. Okay,
also, continue. I want to point something out. Yeah, I think we should also point out that per Whitley's statement, or no, I'm sorry. Per Matt Miller's statement, Whitley and Matt communicated through Snapchat. So if there's missing communication, maybe it's because of the apps. Good Lord. Think outside the box. Okay. Here's some more that are from the HTC or just that I had screenshotted and pulled out. This one is from Christian to Whitley, and it says, I mean, if I was in their shoes, I ain't gonna lie, hell yeah, I would have too. You're hot and you were partying. And she replies back and says, I did not get fucked up with 3 dudes. I got fucked up with Dallas, and when Jennifer said I had to go, I left. And when I got to Garrett's, he was in bed and Zach wasn't far behind him, and that was the one and only night I got fucked up. But that's a lie, because she admits in other ones that she got fucked up, right? That she's not Avery, she doesn't go to church.
Yep. She likes drugs.
Yep. This one is from I'm not sure.
Read it. I might be able to tell you.
It's either from her mom or her aunt. I'll read it, and I should have made a note on this. Sorry. Oh, this has to be Christy, I think. Seriously, though, she really has been sitting at the house day in and day out. She went to the movies and to go out eat Friday night. She got mad at Dylan, and the only person she's been hanging out with last week and disappeared on me Saturday. Left Mason's birthday party and everything. Barry made her go. She doesn't have many quality friends, but she needs to learn 2 things real soon, or you're right, she will be a sad and lonely person. She needs to learn honesty and the golden rule. She needs to think about how her actions will make you feel. I know she cares a lot about you, and you have been very good for her. I really want to see you all work out. She's growing and learning. This is her first real mature relationship, and I'm happy she's found someone that sees the good in her. I guess the ball's in her court. Let's see what she does with it. And then he said, I ain't got no one. Me and her ain't together. I ain't talked to her since I threw Wade Josh Brown the other day and found out I think he said I 3-Wade, but he said I threw Wade, but it's 3-Wade Josh Brown the other day and found out most of the truth to everything. I tried to call twice to do the same, but you never answered. So he's 3-Waying with people to have to get the truth out of his girlfriend. This one's also from Christy. She says, I'm just tired, hurt, discouraged, defeated, scared, worried, and grieving. I'm a pushover, and I feel like she walks all over me and takes my kindness, coolness for granted. She doesn't do what I say. No one respects me or listens to me except Brian. I guess that's my fault. I think people just see me as weak. I want respect. I deserve it. I'm so glad she has someone like you. She needs that. Thank you for believing in her, guiding her in the right direction, and being encouraging when I no longer have it in me to do that. I'm beat down. I mean it. I want the very best life has to offer for her, but I have 3 other little people to think about too, and they often get cast to the side when they need me because I have to deal with her latest incident. So done doing that. I want things to get better too. I really do. All I want is a happy family where everyone around loves everyone. You are totally included in that. We really like having you around. We don't worry so much about her. We know you take care of her and look out for her best interests. You have a really good head on your shoulders. I'm going to have her call you in a minute. And then she says, say a little prayer for me. I have an interview in the morning for a SPED position at NE in the morning. What an awful, overbearing, horrible boyfriend Christian was to take care of his girlfriend and have her mom thank him for it.
And that her mom couldn't handle her because of all of her incidents.
Right.
So she has a track record.
Such an awful
confirmed by her mother.
Okay. Then there's more where he's like, hey, God damn it, you're starting to piss me off. Ugh, hey, mother effer. I mean, what's the deal? And then he texts Mimi, her aunt, you heard from Whitley. And he says, last time I heard from her was 1, and Boomer was supposed to get out of the vet at 5. I mean, she would cut her phone off and just ignore him. She turned her location off on her phone and ignore him. I mean, why the games? Why the games? It's not a, Angel's next. Yes, that's her mother. Why the games? Like, if you're not doing anything nefarious, why are you cutting your phone off? And I know that it's going to be said that she was 17 years old, but let me go here for a second, right? Okay. So this is a paragraph not a paragraph, it's several lines that I found in the HTC from just a month prior to his death. And he says, my service sucks. I'm in and out and tired. I got to get up. I got to make a lock. She says, ugh, I'm sorry, sugar. He says, wake me up at 8. Or she says, wake me up at 8. I don't want to sleep all day. Must be rough. While your boyfriend's out on his boat, working his booty off, and you're telling him to wake you up at 8 because you don't want to sleep all day. He says, I love you. Then he texts her when she asks and says, wake up, sugar bear. She says, aw. Then she says, what the H? She said, oh, I guess you're asleep. Sleep good, booger. Then he says, I love you, but that says unsent for some reason. I don't know if it's maybe because he had bad service or whatever. But then she says, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the Western Union today so I don't have to be a rush in the morning. He says, okay. She says, can I get out a little extra because we don't have toilet paper, paper towels, milk, or bread, and really nothing to eat. Then he has to text her again, asking where she's at. Because he says, hey, damn it. And then she says, I'm headed home. I only got one message from you. So if we want to say that she was 17 and that's why she was playing these games, she was also playing house. And let's remember all the things that have been said about her having access to Christian's money. So much access that he has to Western Union her money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she was taking the money out. There's so much. I mean, we could go on and on for hours. And it's just more and more of the whole, where are you? Her phone's cut off. He can't find her. I mean, come on. He's a 21-year-old guy with a good-looking girlfriend back home, living in his home by herself while him and his brother are gone for 30 days at a time. She's cheated multiple times. She's admitted to it multiple times.
Yeah, show me a guy that wouldn't act
where she
exactly
is.
how he's asking.
Exactly. Okay. Like I said, I'm having to go back and forth, so bear with me. I promise we're almost through these. Promise. These are awful. I hate even reading it because it's just so. Okay. This one says. This one I think was to Christy, or no, this was to someone else, and Christian was talking about. He says, I mean, we just got done arguing about her lying and sneaking around. Then she is going to do it again. Less than 2 hours later. Shit is just hard because I really do care about her. I try and I would do anything for her, but she doesn't care. She does what she wants, makes no sacrifices for me. But yeah, I bend over backwards for her. I'm home for 15 days. I came home this time and went home with her every night at 8 because she had to. And I never complained, never whined, never said a word. I cussed my mom out, left my house, my big-ass bed and TV, came to her house, paid her mom $600, fed Whitley, took out the trash, helped clean up the house, took her wherever she wanted to go, got her whatever she wanted, but it wasn't enough. She can't stay sober and not lie to me. I haven't even been gone 4 days, and she is already stressing me out. So, you're telling me that this 21-year-old boy left his home where he was living with his parents because we know that things were not good with Whitley being in the Andreacchio home. So he leaves his own home, moves into her house with her mom briefly, I'm assuming until they got into the apartment with Josh, paid her $600, helped around the house, and Whitley's out messing around.
And now they're trash talking him after he did that for her family. Helped out when he probably didn't have to, because she obviously didn't do it.
It was before he moved into the apartment, sleuthy by proxy. Okay, so we also, there's text messages in there that I didn't get a chance to. I'm just going to be honest, and I had a hellacious day yesterday, so when I had planned on going a little bit deeper into the text messages, I didn't get as deep as I wanted. But there are text messages on 225 that prove that she was done with Christian. Like, she was, in my mind, she was moving on, and I think that her target was Matt. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think her target was Matt. She was just trying to find the next paycheck. That's my opinion. But yeah, it's in there. It's all in there. Other incidents of giving her mom money? No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe I can read back through them. It's a lot of text. It's you have to remember too, it's two phones of text. And
yeah, there's thousands.
All the way back to like June, May of 2013, all the way to the day that he died. So it's yeah, thousands, like Susan says.
Do we know when his accident was on the boat? When she was saying something about being pregnant?
I'm sure we can find it. Okay. We can leave that for a later
one if you want to make a
note. Yeah, we can circle back to it.
Yep.
Okay, so the next thing on our list is something that's very interesting. Gather around, my peoples. I'm just kidding. I don't have peoples. Okay, I'm going to pull this up on my phone because that's itty bitty. Okay, so back months ago, I went through both phone redactions deep. And I stayed up late, and I needed something to stand out to me. Like, I needed something to just jump off the page and smack me upside the face. And what I was doing was I was looking in the text messages, right? I was looking in the text messages and in the call logs. And it just, I mean, there was a lot of what I read, and there was just nothing that was like, like just slap me upside the head. And then I was like, I'm missing something. And, like Einhorn-Finkel, like I was literally like pulling my hair out looking for this. And so then one night I was like scrolling, and I was scrolling through the HTC redaction, and I got to his Google searches, or his web history is what I got to. And I thought, well, maybe I need to look here. Maybe there's something in this section of the redaction that I need to see. And so I started looking. And as you can see on the screen, my spreadsheet starts on the 21st of February. Christian went out on the boat the 22nd of February. So this starts one day before he left. And his searches, his like Google searches, his web history before that was not unusual. He searched for truck parts, BMW parts, cars, trucks, homes. He searched for furniture. He searched for appliances, just very random, but normal stuff, right? Normal stuff for a guy being bored on a boat, like just searching, looking. There was nothing that was jumping out at me. And then it hit me on that day. Okay, so as you can see there, and I'm going to go line by line. And if something's red, it's because we're not going to dox someone, and we don't want people to go and attack anyone, and I'm sure that all of our followers would never, but let's just not, please. Don't try to guess who's on there. If you know who it is, just don't say it, okay? Thank you. And I freaking forgot to read our disclaimer, and so I'm gonna throw it in here. I'm gonna throw it in.
It's in the description.
Oh, okay. Well, so just don't go attack people. Don't dox them. Don't attack them. Be good people, please. I'm sure you all are, but I just have to put it out there. Okay, so 2/21/2014, and these are all from the HTC, right? I don't need to go over that. He web searches Meridian Star, which is the local newspaper for people that aren't local. At 7:27 p.m., he pulls up the law enforcement report from 2/14/14. He was home at that time, but I believe he was up at the cabin. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. So he searches 2:14 twice, 7:27 p.m. and 7:28 p.m. At 7:29 p.m., he searches 2:13/14. At 7:29 p.m., he also searches 2:19/14. At 7:33, he types it in again in a Google search, like Meridian Star Law Enforcement. Sorry about my typo, but he put Meridian Star Law Enforcement. So if you haven't caught on by now, he's looking for something, right? And he hasn't done this before in the redaction. Like he doesn't make it a daily, like he doesn't drink his coffee and start searching the Meridian Star Law Enforcement report. So he's clearly looking for something. He searches at 7:34, he searches 2:7/14, he does it again at 7:39. So clearly something on that day, maybe he thought. 2:06, he searches at 8:56. I mean, he's coming back to this. Like, stops what he's doing and he comes back to it. Then he goes at 8:57 and he opens the Meridian Star homepage. 8:57, he searches 2:22/14. That's on the 22nd. So that's in the AM, sorry. So it went from 7:39 p.m. to 8:56 a.m. So he gets on the boat and he's looking again. So he's looking for something. Correct me if I'm wrong in thinking this. Tell me I'm wrong, but he's searching for something in the Meridian Star Law Enforcement report. So, I mean, we searched any single sideways way we could to figure out who he was looking for. It wasn't him. It wasn't Whitley. Like, we couldn't find anybody in there that it could have been, but he was looking. At 8:59, he opens Google. At 8:59, he searched in Google Meridian Star arrests. So he's like avidly looking for whatever this is. And then he switches at 9:01 and opens Craigslist. And he searches for different vehicles, which is his normal behavior, until 9:09 a.m. And then at 9:10 a.m., he Google searches, literally Google searches, types it in, Dylan Swearingen, and he does it 2 times. He searches Dylan Swearingen at 9:15. He searches Dylan Swearingen Twitter at 9:15 a.m. And then he's on Twitter. Mind you, he doesn't have a Twitter account, so he's doing this just from a Google search. He clicks on all these user names. Please don't go look for these people. And don't harass them if they still have them. Sorry, I didn't mean to read it out loud. I forgot that it's redacted on there. So I'm not reading it. He clicks on 2 Twitter names at 9:24 and 9:31. And then he switches over and does a Google search for Muna routing number. At 7:38 p.m., so he must have went on shift, he gets back onto Google and he searches Dylan Swearingen again. And then he gets to Google, and then he goes to Twitter, and then he searches Dylan Swearingen again. And then he clicks through Twitter. He's clicking, and he clicks one user, another user, and then he finds Dylan Swearingen. And he's on Twitter at 9:21 p.m., so from 8:58 a.m. to 9:21 p.m., there's a break on the 23rd of February. There's a break in his searches. That's his shift, obviously. He goes to Twitter. There's a Twitter login. So that is when Christian created a Twitter account. It's a little known fact. So he logs in. He searches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different people, nobody related to the case, and then he's done. That goes until 12 a.m. And then he goes back at 12:02 a.m. He searches one more person. And then I put it in red because right at this point, he sees something. He sees something and he says in a text to Whitley on his HTC at 12:15 a.m., something tells me you want us to end. And that's on the 24th, 2 days before he dies. So then he goes to his AT&T login. And he logs into AT&T. And he goes obviously to their call report or their text report. And he texts the number and he says, "Who is this?" at 12:33 a.m. At 1:03 a.m. he logs back into AT&T and he texts another number and he says, "Who is this?" And we redacted that name because it was necessary. Then he goes until 8 a.m. and he logs into Region. It was a login, which is weird because we've tried to find out if he had a Regions bank account, and he did not. So there's a login to a bank that he doesn't belong to. And then he texts Whitley and asks, "Who is one of the numbers up above that I said that he texted?" He logs into AT&T 3 times between 8:43 a.m. and 10:21 a.m. on the 24th. Then he goes back to Google searching Dylan, and he does that 2 times. Then he searches for another person that we redacted because she doesn't have anything to do with the case. Then he goes back at 11:12 a.m. and Google searches Dylan. And then at 4:16 p.m., he Google searches, you guessed it, Dylan. He goes to Instagram at 4:31. And he looks up a person that doesn't have anything to do with the case. Then he goes to Twitter at 4:40 p.m. and he searches for Zach Tapp. Then he signs up for Twitter under the profile.
It's on there.
Okay. Truth Burns. That profile still exists. Then he clicks through 2 different people that don't have anything to do with the case. And then he clicks on Jet Miller on the 24th at 5 p.m. And then he clicks on Matt Miller at 5:39 p.m. Then he tweets a reply to one of Matt Miller's tweets from the Truth Burns account at 5:46 p.m. I mean, are you guys not a little bit shook right now? I don't see any comments. Maybe this is nothing to y'all. Maybe y'all know this. I don't know. But I just was like, what? So then he...
Yeah, the 24th.
Which is 2 days before.
Yeah, searching certain people.
So...
yeah.
Yeah. So then
he knew something.
And he tweeted at Matt Miller 2 days before. Not the night before, not gun night, right? 2 nights before.
Right.
So then he logs into AT&T again, and I believe that these logins to AT&T are just his way of getting into the call logs and the tweet or the text logs. And then he Googles, how do I disconnect my phone from Twitter? He was done already. Then he goes to the Twitter Help Center. Then he logs back in and he searches more people, including... Well, then he Googles Dylan again at 8:36. And then he goes back to Matt Miller.
I think I missed getting those.
And then... Off the sheet. Oh, it should have been... Okay, yeah.
Mine stopped at 5, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So yeah, then it stops right after that anyway. So he Googles Dylan Swearingen at 8:36. He clicks on Matt Miller at 9:31, 9:34, 9:36. He's clicking through to other people. He logs into AT&T at 9:46 p.m., 9:52 p.m., and 10:13 p.m. And then that's where I stopped because it was just, yes, he made that account and he tweeted from it one time.
Now, also, I want to point out something. He was doing these searches 2 days before, and Matt Miller, in a statement, although he originally was claiming that she contacted him and they went out gun night, blah, 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 he, in another statement, said, she contacted me a couple days before the incident. And so I wonder what Christian knew, because this was a couple days before, but I actually know that she contacted him on the 22nd originally.
Yeah. Tracy, that, yeah. Something had, like, you don't just go from never searching the arrest report to doing it obsessively. And why are you searching Dylan 2 days before you call him to pick you up? Actually, if I'm being honest, it was what, 3 days, 4 days? The 22nd, yeah, and the 21st, he was searching the arrest report.
She was asking about the 22nd about what I just said about Matt and Whitley.
Oh, sorry. I'll let you answer that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just said it. So, yes, they were in contact on the 22nd. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions about all of those? I mean, it's a lot. I mean, it was a lot for me. I just can't imagine why he would be searching Dylan so diligently. Julia, gun night didn't happen on the 25th. But she had her gun her phone that night.
I left out some. One of my mods just reminded me I left out some that I was going to read. I'm going to go back to these really quick if you guys are okay with that. I know we're at the an hour and 10-minute mark. Thank you guys for hanging in there. It was just a lot to read. So hard to read off a screenshot. Okay. So Christian's in a bad mood. I'm just going to paraphrase the first couple of these. He's in a bad mood and Whitley can tell. He's being short with her, I think. And so she says, you need to untangle your cooter, Christian. He says, no tangles. This was January of 2014. He says, she says, yes, bunch of tangles. He said, she says, I think my sleeping pattern is getting back on track because last night at 8, I was so tired. And even though I stayed up kind of late, I still woke up early. He says, sure you wasn't hanging out with Dylan. He said, got a pretty good feeling you're luring on that one. I think he meant lying. She says, no, I'm not. It was just me and Mimi. Also, I need to stop here for a second. Christian's texting, and no offense, please, this isn't me bashing Christian. I've even had this conversation with other people. Christian's texting is horrendous. But for some reason, the texts that they say are his notes and his self-harm text, the autocorrect, is just miraculous and there's no error. Like, I'm having a real hard time. I can't read some of these. They're so bad. I have to understand what he's saying because he's a typical, guy that doesn't care about texting and is just texting. Like, you give me a break on this, right? I mean, like when I say that they're bad, like the one that I just read, it says you lured and he meant lied. And that's not bashing Christian. I promise you that. I'm just making a point. And then she says, no, I'm not. It was just me and Mimi. And then he says, then she says, all these messages were supposed to send at like midnight. Ask him, which I don't understand that. So then he says, sure. So you was just with Mimi? Think it's kind of random on a Monday too policy. See what I mean? So he says, sure. So you was just with Mimi? Think it's kind of random on a Monday too policy that hang out weren't together. He meant two people that hang out weren't together. She said, what? And then he said, on a Monday when everyone else was at work and stuff to do in the morning, Dylan and Mimi weren't together, but yet both have tried to get you two. Y'all were riding around the whole night. I also thought was weird unless y'all didn't want to go to your grandparents with someone. He says, let me know when you're ready to tell the truth. She says, fucking ask everybody. You know Dylan is honest. That's one thing about him. Fucking ask him. He said, I don't care if you were or weren't with him, but I ain't dumb. She says, it don't matter that much to me either, but I was with Mimi. He says, I know you were and Dylan. And she says, no, you don't. He says, So then he writes again and says, one day you're going to learn how to lie, but if you think that I believe y'all wasn't hanging out, then you must think I'm retarded. You can get Mimi to text me. You can get Dylan to text me. I ain't going to buy it. You will be wasting your time. When you want to tell me the truth, I'll be here to listen. And then she says, dun, dun, dun. I'm not denying you the truth for anyone anymore. You are the most important person in my life. I lied for Mimi. She told me over and over again this morning, last night, before I left, and called me after I left to just stick with my story. I should just cut my ties with every person I associate with, including family. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've been doing so good. Yep, we were with Dylan. If you want me to leave, I'll pack my stuff and call Mimi to come get me, and I'll be gone. You deserve the truth no matter what. I've got myself in the middle of her shit, and I know what's right and wrong, and what she's doing is wrong. I lied for her. I don't care if you tell Houston. I understand if you want me to go because I have no excuse. I know what's right and wrong, and it hurts to know that the thing that makes me happiest, Mimi would vouch to mess it up. I know Mimi nor Dylan would have told you, and you don't deserve to be lied to, so here I am. We were with him.
But wait, she just said that Dylan is honest.
Uh-huh.
But then she said, okay, you caught me, and Dylan's a liar.
Dylan would lie for me.
Jesus.
Say what?
But they're telling the truth when they say that Christian wanted to give his money away to them. And
So she says, even with my family, I've put myself in a bad situation, and that's who I thought I'd be fine with no matter what. I wouldn't get in trouble. I wouldn't get in the middle of anyone's shit. So her family would lie for her.
Yep. Well, imagine that.
Really?
But we're supposed to take their word on it.
Right. He says, you got until I get home to have your stuff out. If you need help with it, I'll help. And then he says, what pisses me off the most is I told you if you wanted to have something to do with him, that's fine, but I'm not. I'm not. And we know who he's talking about there. He's talking about Dylan. If you want something to do with Dylan, that's fine, but I'm not. On January 21st, 2014.
Yep.
And then he says, instead of just telling me the truth, you lied as soon as a chance came up, and I caught you again. And then here's the icing on the cake. Who's leaving us? It says from her, I'm a liar. That's what I do. Not only that, but I have always had so many great opportunities in life that would have helped me meet my full potential of happiness, but I turned them away. You were my foundation. I found myself, and without you, I'm nothing, and I accept that. I'm just back to square one, except it hurts worse this time. I love you. Please don't make this harder than it will already be. Should we discuss that? Should we discuss that? She was 17 in 2014.
Yep.
Who wants to discuss that? I'm all freaking out. I'm glad that. Thank you for sending that to me, because I don't know how I skipped over that one. That one, I actually even text Susan like an hour before we came live, before I ate dinner, and said, I can't find it. Then I was like, then I found it, and then I forgot to read it. So I want to pick that apart for a minute before I get to the next thing. I'm really trying to hurry. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, Christian and Dylan didn't really talk a whole lot in any of those text or phone calls, except for that day, the February 26th. There wasn't a whole lot of conversation going on between the two of them before that.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? I'm like really anxious to get to the next part, and I'm not trying to be. We can get back to it. You guys are more than welcome to jump up on the panel.
Yeah, we just got to do one quick thing, and
yeah,
then we can get to that.
Okay. So I know if you're not in our Facebook group, you're not going to understand this. And if you are, first of all, I want to apologize. This is going to take a little bit of humility. I made a post, I don't know, a few days ago, and I was really upset. So I said I had some breaking news, and I still have that breaking news. It's still a breaking news. However, I'm just going to get to it. Well, first of all, let me just say I was upset by some things that had happened outside of Facebook, some personal attacks that had happened on myself, Susan, and the family. And so I made a rash decision. With that being said, as you can see from that meme, so on 48 Hours, Whitley read a poem, and it was titled Moist. A few months ago, I was given the entire 15 pages, and it was only briefly read on 48 Hours. So with that being said, we've chosen to wait to share it because the way that it's written, it could cause like real pain to Christian's family and renewed grief, and I'm not about that. I don't want to do that. And also, it would only be fair to let Whitley be the one to share it in its entirety, since it's her poem, she wrote it. And, you know, I reacted out of anger. I reacted out of vengeance, and I reacted, and I shouldn't have. And I'm just going to leave it where it belongs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that if you guys want to, I dangled a carrot in front of your face, and I shouldn't have done that. And I apologize. And so I'm sorry. And I'm moistly regretful. I crack jokes because that's what I do. I crack jokes because that's what I'm. Anyways, I'm sorry. And anyways, does anybody want to come on panel and discuss anything that we talked about tonight other than the poem? Because we're not sharing it. Does anybody have any questions?
I just put the link in the.
Oh yeah.
For anybody that wants to come on. And anybody have any questions that I might have missed in the that you didn't get your answer to or anything? Sure. Ask it again.
How the heck are we under an hour and a half? Go us. Yeah, if you want to jump on. Do we have any mods on that want to jump on? If not, we understand. It's intimidating up here, I'm telling you. Oh, so many things.
Anybody want to come on and dispute us?
Yeah, you're welcome to too.
Instead of going to somewhere where you have to use a fake name and do it there?
Kelly. We can only hope. Stay tuned for that documentary. Should we discuss Dylan's comment this last week? I mean, it's part of it, right? Should we discuss that?
Yeah.
Anybody want to discuss that? Yeah, sleuthy by proxy, and not like it is permanent once it's online. It's not mine, like as much as I'll leave my opinion to myself. But as much as I could post it for everybody to see. It's also very hurtful to several people in Christian's family, including Christian. So why open that back up? I think I've done enough tonight. I think we've done enough of wound opening tonight with reading the text messages and the grief that had to come from the sign, the message that we read from the sign. Like, why would I add to that pain? I'm not here to hurt the Andreacchios or even Christian, and I'm not even here to hurt Whitley Dillon or anybody else involved in this case. We just want to get the facts out there. And when I did that, when I posted that I had breaking news, I did it out of reaction, and it was wrong. So yeah, let's go over to Dylan's comment from, I believe it was Sunday. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. I'm so sorry. I like sitting by my window and I have a rose bush right outside. It's not good for allergies. 9 million screenshots. The Facebook group, Susan, can you drop it in the links, or can one of our mods? Is that what you're talking about, Katie, too?
I'm getting it right now.
Okay. I'm not going to put this on the screen because it's just disgusting. Well, okay. So about a month ago, Dylan took the text messages of Christians and made a post and said, here's all the posts, or here's all the text from Christians saying that he was going to commit self-harm. And he, pretty much called Christian out. And it's a public post, right? Like, so he had to open the post up so that people could see it, made it public so that people could share it and that people could see it and, call Christian out or call everybody else out saying that, yes, he was suicidal. Sorry, I keep getting instant messages. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's annoying me. So he makes that post a month ago, right? And then he expects that people aren't going to go on there and comment on it. Like, I wouldn't. Like, we have a rule to not go real life, right? But I wouldn't go comment on it because I just don't comment on people's public posts no matter who they are. But this person chose to, and that's her prerogative, right? And so she jumped on there and asked, hey, why did you give the gun back? And he flipped out. And I'm paraphrasing what her words were. I'm sure it was something a little more than, hey, why'd you give the gun back? But she essentially asked him, as his best friend, why did you give the gun back? And this is what his response was. Are you guys ready for this? If you are not in our group, or I don't know if you haven't seen this, because it may have been buried in our group, brace yourselves, right? Okay, so he replies to her, says her name, and then he says, am I supposed to baby him the rest of his life after that day? Tell a grown-ass man I'm going to take his gun away from him. Shut the fuck up and miss me with all that bullshit. He was a fucking crybaby, and he took himself out because he was tired of his shitty, in quotations, life. Just because he had nice things doesn't mean he was happy, in quotations. Stop following the words of a mental health expert that couldn't even save their own, in all caps, child, let alone someone else's.
Absolutely disgusting.
Anybody want to discuss that? Needless to say, his Facebook is down. I don't know why he would have taken it down. I mean, I couldn't imagine any attorney saying, hey, yeah, keep that up. It's great. Might as well make it your cover photo. Not only did he call Christian a crybaby, he blamed Ray for Christian's death. I like, my lip is shaking. That's how mad I am just talking about it. Ugh. A crybaby. Julie, you don't think he did it himself?
Wrote the actual post.
Right, yeah. The post was very well worded. The comment.
Yeah, I don't think he wrote it himself either.
Didn't he attack you, Kelly? Yes, Ashley and 303 sleuthing. Yes, see? You guys are like, why? I don't think there's ever been a time that I've sat there and searched a friend that many times. Like, first of all, I don't search my friends, but second of all, that many times in a Google search. Like, he didn't have social media. So he was going straight to Google looking for Dylan and checking their arrest report.
And they weren't friends.
Well, very factual in Christian's own words. I don't care if you hang out with him, I will not.
Yep.
1 month prior. And for anybody that doesn't understand that just because it's not in the call log, just because it's not in the text messages, that there weren't other ways that these people communicated, you're out of your mind. Matt says it himself. Him and Whitley communicated through Snapchat. So we know, like I had a teenager back in 2014. I had 2 teenagers back in 2014. I bet if I pulled up their call and text report, it would be similar to what Christians and everybody else's were. But if we pulled up their Snap history, it would be in the tens of thousands. Like, that's just how they communicated back then. Whose aunt, Julie? On the phone extraction, Heather, they got data, but it doesn't say what it is. That's the problem. What didn't you hear any of, Katie? See, this is why we're doing what we're doing, because people are just being shown one side and saying that we're only showing one side. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. Some of those text messages that we read weren't, exactly stellar in Christian's defense, but they were real. He was real, and he was very much in this relationship that he should have never been in from the get-go.
He was constantly lied to.
Yeah. It just,
treated like crap.
Oh, and that's another thing that I wanted to point out, and I must be missing line items to read, but like in the text history, and I can pull it up and prove it if anybody wants proof, but in the text history, just weeks, if not days prior to his death, him and Josh were communicating about setting up auto pay for bills for paying a deposit on the house for the dog. He was buying a new dryer and having that installed. He was looking for new furniture. They were looking for a new mattress. Like, those aren't things that you do if you're depressed and going to kill self-harm. You're not worried about bills, right? And when I was going through the phone extraction, in the portion that I was in for part of the iMessages, like, it came up on, I think it was March 1st, pay car note and insurance. Like, he set it out months ahead of time to remind him when to pay certain bills. That's what a responsible person does.
Yeah, he was not suicidal at all. And the other thing, in between those suicidal texts, he was talking to other people. And it was like a normal conversation. If he was all depressed, he probably would have ignored those people, or there would have been some sense of depression seen in those texts, but he was still perfectly normal.
Yeah, who's bashing? We're not bashing. We're not doing that.
Who's saying that? Where's that?
The last comment. I forgot the rules this time, guys. Remember, keep it clean. We aren't doing that, even if we don't like them. We're not stupid to know levels. The only level we're on is Christian's level. Anybody want to jump on? No? Yes? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree.
So where I said I was so dramatic as a teenager and said so many things I never meant when I was hurt. That's all I see in Christian's text too. I don't see suicidal at all.
I agree. It's the end of the world when you're that age.
Yeah,
something
everything's
happens.
the end of the world. Something this big is this big.
I picked the wrong one.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that one too.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... No. Okay, so glad you asked that. I wish I knew. And like, I probably gonna get made fun of about this one, but I don't care. So I'll sometimes go to bed at night and I'll be like, Christian, just tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what you were looking for. Tell me what you were looking for. And he hasn't, obviously. But, you know, he was looking for something.
I think he was looking for something on Dylan because of all the searches for Dylan.
Yeah.
That came after. And I think the searches of Zach, Jet, and Matt were because
he knew that Willie was with them.
Yeah.
He had to have. He had to have.
He had to have.
He never looked for them before. And then he goes out on a hitch, and all of a sudden he's looking for them. And he went so far as to not having social media to create a Twitter account to tweet at Matt.
And then the one
it wasn't it, and you know, it wasn't even anything threatening. It was telling him to get a job.
Yeah.
He said something about getting a job. Like, shouldn't you go get a job or something like that? It wasn't even anything like, I'm gonna, come back and kick your ass. It was nothing harmful, threatening. It was get a job.
Yeah.
Was Christian torn between his mother and Whitley? Okay, so
I don't think so.
We'll just go there. Yes, there are text messages where Christian complains about his mom. Yes, there are text messages where Christian complains about his mom and Whitley. Yes, there are text messages where Christian complains about Whitley. Now, with all that out there, we know it. We've always known it. what 21-year-old boy, if somebody can tell me a 21-year-old man that has taken their life because of their mother, show me. Please, show me.
You'll be waiting a long time. It doesn't happen.
And the issues with his mother were that Whitley was horrible in her home, so she was no longer welcomed there. And Christian didn't like that. I can tell you that if at 21, one of my kids moved in or lived with me and their significant other moved in and I didn't like them and said, get out, they probably would go too, right? Like young love, that's what happens. Now, that being said, Ray wasn't hurtful to Christian. Yes, they argued. Yes, they fought. Tell me a mom and son that doesn't. Tell me a mom and daughter that doesn't. Tell me a dad and son that doesn't. Tell me a dad and daughter that doesn't. No family's perfect. There's no nuclear family in this world.
And there was nothing out of the ordinary of their arguing. And she was the last person that spoke to him.
Right. And he talked to her on the phone for 3 minutes that morning.
They were making plans for the future that morning. Last person.
I'll always stand by the fact that a 21-year-old is not going to take their life because of their mother. I mean, maybe if this was Bates Motel and she was mommy dearest, right? But not even then, because you know what happens in those situations? And Ray, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but his mom would have been unalived. Or somebody else, because those type of situations end up making a serial killer, not somebody self-harming. It's statistically proven. If you think that you can prove me wrong, then show me. Where am I saying?
He knew his mom loved him regardless of the issues over Whitley. That's very true.
Right. And here's another thing. He loved Alexa. He loved his mom. I'm not saying that he didn't. And please don't twist my words. What I'm saying is what I said last week still stands. If you look up statistics with self-harm, things happen in the self-harm situation where like they give away items, possessions, right? Not money, not their debit card. They give away vehicles and animals, pets. They give away treasured items. They will randomly start making proclamations of love to people that they hadn't talked to, or that, you know, they wanted to make sure that they know that he loved them, right? And there was none of that in the call history or the text messages where Christian, like, he didn't text Alexa and say, you know, hey kid, I love you. He didn't text Josh and say, hey, take care of Alexa. He didn't text his dad and say, hey, take care of mom. He didn't text his mom and say, hey, watch out for the, you know, dad, or I'm going to miss you, or I love you. Or there were none of these big proclamations in his text messages. He didn't call his grandmother, who he loved dearly. Like, come on.
He would have never have left Alexa. Never.
No. Not in a million. I don't believe he would have left anybody in his family.
Me neither.
But especially
definitely
Alexa.
Not her.
I agree, J. John. She said, I think Christian played up the angst between his mom and him. I think that he did it on both sides. Like, I think that he would vent about Whitley, and then he would vent about his mom. And you can't do that. Like, I mean, you can. It happens. People do it all the time, right? You're pissed off at somebody, so you go to somebody else and you vent. Well, that doesn't make that person stop being mad at the other person, because they're
everybody has that friend who has that boyfriend or girlfriend that they always complain to their friend about. And the friend always knows, like, oh, that's just them complaining. They'll be back together next week. It'll be all fine. Everybody has a friend like that.
Julie, they said there's a note in the log, and there's a note, an iPhone note that says This isn't because of you, it's because of my mom. But let me tell you,
Imagine
that note is
that.
perfect. It's like perfect. Not one error at all. And it ends in ...
Yeah, he was not made by him.
No, he didn't put that note there. I don't care what anybody says. And it's neatly tucked in, just neatly tucked. I'm just going to put this right up here. That's not a note, anyways.
Nope. Why would he even leave that on his phone?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be stupid.
That's another thing that we should touch on is, there's these text messages, like in the redaction, it'll say deleted. And then in that column, it'll say yes in red, right? Well, the other side always wants to point out that Christian deleted, or no, that Ray or somebody in the family deleted those texts. Why couldn't it have been Christian deleting those texts? It was his phone. It was his phone.
And they could have been deleted months before.
Exactly. Yes, Heather, she did.
No, he didn't write that, Julie. No way.
And here's the reason why I know that he didn't write it, because he makes reference to his notes. And he says, check my iPhone notes or something along. Check the Apple notes or something like that. So that to me means that they shared notes back and forth through the same Apple ID, because that's the only way you can do it, right? So he's telling her to get in his notes and check it. And I'm not talking about that note. This was weeks or months before. But he told her to check the notes. So she knew that she had access to those notes.
And like you said, it was written perfectly.
Right. And you guys heard and saw how bad I was struggling through those text messages. There was nothing like Christian couldn't put together. Sorry, I'm not bashing him.
Well, I mean, especially if he's distraught, the last thing he's going to think about is spelling.
Right. I need to punctuate this and capitalize this and make sure that this is perfect. Heather said, my daughter's iPad is signed in with my iCloud, and all of my notes, messages, calls, apps, pictures, etc. sync from my iPad to my iPhone and my phone to the iPad. Yep. And when they say that we accuse them of hacking Christian's phone to change messages, you don't have to hack what you have access to, right?
Yeah. It's not hacking if you have access to it. And she had access to it.
Uh-oh, Julie. Well, if you don't want to put it in writing, jump up on the panel. Then it'll be in words forever. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. My husband and I just had that conversation. She said if he wasn't thinking about it after a 5-year relationship with Avery, he wasn't going to consider it over Whitley. Everything in his life was good except her.
Absolutely. And they were not even together for a year.
And you're not going to kill yourself over your mom. Sorry, Ray. That's no bash on you, but nope. It's not like she was like he even says in his text, I left my home, my bed, my TV. I did all of these things for Whitley. So it's not like Ray was like, Christian, if you stay with Whitley, you're cut off. He didn't need to be cut off from anything. He was making his own money, right? So what could, so she was upset with him. He was upset with her. So what? That's not life ending. Let me tell you, as a child that was raised in a very hostile environment, that's not life ending. I'm still here, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Christian lived in a hostile environment. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, anything, like when you are raised in that environment and you don't self-harm, like Christian had a good life at home. Let's not get it twisted here.
Yeah, absolutely. And he had a good head on his shoulders, and he only gets that from having good parents that aren't crazy and not caring. I mean, he knew where he was going in life, and you can tell by his phone with, like you said, all the things that he had planned and lined up, and he had a lot to live for.
Okay. We get it, Julie. No, you don't have to say it. Like, we don't want you to feel forced to say it. What happened to the iPad? I believe it was sold or given away to somebody. Like, somebody had it and then Whitley couldn't get it back. Or somebody couldn't get it back. I don't know for sure. I don't want to speak out of turn, but it's gone. Okay, so I think next week 3, we said, was crime scene. Let me double check that.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the science over text messages.
I'm searching. I'm looking for what we said week 3 was. Sorry. Yep. Crime scene week 3. And oh boy, you think all of this stuff that we've done so far. I do that noise, and it always cracks me up because my granddaughter, when she sees a toy at the store that she really wants, instead of asking for it, she goes, "Well." So no, I can't stop doing it.
We don't see Whitley's or Dylan's texts at all, except for the communication with Christian, because the only text messages pulled were Christian's phone.
And we do have Whitley and Dylan's call logs and their AT&T report that was given to Susan, but
you don't see you don't see actually what they text.
Right. And Whitley turned her phone off the morning of, and it never turned back on.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Before
just had to double check
Christian
that.
got there.
Right.
About 9:40.
9 o'clock.
About 9:45 ish.
We do know she has a burner phone though.
Yes, and she used that day.
Or she had a burner phone, and I think that in those searches, Christian was trying, like, in those searches that he was doing, he was trying to get into the record for that too. I think he knew that she had it, because one of the searches that he does is and I didn't put it in the spreadsheet because it wasn't like, it didn't really like stand out. So I was just trying to highlight the ones that did stand out. But so he's searching for a 1-800 number, and when I Google searched it, comes back to AT&T prepaid. So I'm thinking that he knew that she had that. And that she made I think what happened was she used her phone to make a phone call to the 1-800 number for the prepaid phone to maybe add money to it, or however that works. And so he searched what that 1-800 number was, and it comes back to AT&T prepaid.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, he was checking what number she was calling.
Yeah.
And then that's how he would have been right here with us in a group because he was quite the sleuth.
Julie, what are you biting your tongue over? Oh, crime scene, not the AT&T prepaid.
What's a good question here? Okay.
Alrighty. if nobody wants to jump on, I mean, y'all are welcome. I get it. It's intimidating up here, like I said.
You don't have to show your face. There's a little
See,
avatar you can use.
Then you don't see bellies, which I don't care. I keep saying I don't care. Let me tell you how wide angle this camera is, though. I'm not even kidding. I'm not this wide. I promise that. But I don't care. We can't talk about anybody's looks.
Whitley had an iPad, so I think it was connected, right? We just discussed that a little bit ago because he said, see the notes. And so that's how that would have been. She would have been able to see it. Yeah, Julie, you know a lot about the crime scene kind of stuff. Maybe Christian, you should come on. Come on with us next week.
I don't want to prop it up, Christy. It's fine where it is. I mean, why? What? Oops. Now I'm crooked. I'm on the ground.
Now you're gone.
Yeah, Christian had an iPhone and an HTC phone. I don't know who, somebody said it in the comments. And an HTC phone, and he would switch back and forth. He would take the SIM card out and switch. And that's why we had to go back and forth between the redactions, because nobody wants to see my face. I'll show you my belly instead. Okay. Yeah, so he would switch back and forth between the HTC and the iPhone with his SIM card. I know it's confusing, but he did it. I mean, we could talk about why he did it, but on the boat, they had dummy phones, right? So they wouldn't get in trouble. So they would say, okay, I'm going to shift, and like leave their phone laying there, and then put the SIM card in the other phone, have it in their pocket, because they weren't allowed to be on their phone on the boat. So they did that a lot. And that's why we know that he used someone else's phone to call. I can never remember his name, but he made that call to that other Justin.
Yeah, I think that is the name.
Yeah, so he called that friend before he called Dylan to pick him up, and he didn't use his phone. He used another boat co-worker's phone because he had his phone out and was able to use it. So that's why we know that Christian didn't make the phone call from his phone. And that person signed an affidavit, I believe, saying that that's the fact. So.
Yep.
Was there disturbing text on the HTC phone or just the
There's
iPhone?
the question up on the thing.
Oh, sorry. Is Christian's case open or closed at this current time? At this current time, it's in limbo. That's what it is. So I don't know where you're at with it, Brittany, but just a few months ago, a judge ordered the Attorney General's office to look into it again, and they had until September 1st to file any new findings or whatnot. And the Attorney General said, nah, we don't want to do it. And they kicked it back to the judge and said, we don't want to do this. And the judge said, nah, you got it, and kicked it back. So it's in limbo right now. And that's where we're at. So I'll try to get an update on where that's at before next week so we can update everybody on where it's at right now. But that's just where we're at. And it's just weird because it's closed because it was considered a self-harm, but it's not closed at the same time because anyways, I'm just rambling now. Were there disturbing texts on the HTC phone or just the iPhone? What do you mean by disturbing? That might help answer that question better.
I think the majority of Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying, because if they mean suicidal, I think they're all iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah, if that's what you meant, then those are all on the iPhone that I could find. I mean, there's a lot of texts on the HTC that don't paint Willie in a good light.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with it, and yeah, I feel confident saying that they're all on the iPhone.
Yeah.
2 hours. 2 hours and a dropped camera. We're good this week. Okay, I'll prop up my laptop next week. I will. Hopefully I can be back outside. I love doing it outside because I don't have to worry about my husband in the background or anything like that, but it was just too hot on the patio.
Well, it's probably going to get hotter.
Yeah, but the earth moves.
Yeah,
it was just
and it's moving into summer right now.
I'm just saying, like, where the sun was hitting me, like where I would be sitting, was brutal.
Okay.
So hopefully a week from now it can like shift a little bit.
Get an umbrella.
It's a covered patio,
Oh.
but it was still coming through. It was coming through, and I was like, I'm blazing hot. I'm going inside. And last week I was cold because you remember Heather Harper was like, Missy, are you cold? I'm like, yes, it's cold. Yeah, okay, I thought that's where you were going. K Mama, I think my personal opinion is, and I'm sure other people have different opinions on this, but my personal opinion is they can't work backwards. Like, they said it themselves, once a bell's rung, you can't unring it, right? So if they admit that they messed up, then they admit that they messed up, and it looks really bad. But like my husband said tonight, and other people have said several times, this AGO is new. She's newly elected. Like, she could stand to be a hero, and instead she's not. And so, like, it's just very bizarre. Like, I get that you don't want to admit that you have egg on your face, but sometimes you gotta.
Well, I think that happens a lot of places. They just don't want to admit that they're wrong, because then they know other people will come out of the woodwork saying, well, what about this case? And what about that case? And it opens a can of worms. And no agency wants that.
Right.
Lawsuits, I don't know.
Yeah, we can't really touch on that anyways. There's a gag order on one, and others are just not our business. I can tell you they're open, though. Not closed or dismissed. No, that is not true, Katie, too. It is not true. I don't know why they keep lying.
And they're lying about the number of lawsuits that she has, too. It's not true. And all you have to do is go to, what was the website?
Pacer,
and you can look them all up and see that they're active. So that you're being lied to about that, and it's like a copy and paste lie that person is spreading around everywhere, when people can easily go and search for themselves and see that it's a lie.
Brittany Cleland, Christian's death is officially ruled undetermined at this point.
Yeah, his death certificate says undetermined. And that's the official, by the law, what Final. It's classified. You'll hear other people say, no, the ME said, the ME said suicide, so that's what it is, but that's not true. By law,
the death certificate trumps all.
The death certificate trumps all. And until that's changed, that's what it is, undetermined. And usually they put undetermined because they want more investigation done. That's basically them kicking it back, saying there's not enough for me to make a decision. You need to look into this more. And no one looked into it more.
I think by law, when there's new information that was not presented to the grand jury, that they should always force a case to be looked at, presented. Absolutely, Heather. Absolutely.
Yes,
If
and
you
we'll
can
get
prove,
into a piece of that next week.
yeah, if you can prove the grand jury was not presented all information, and that's a provable fact, then that means the grand jury could have ruled differently. Correct? I mean, am I wrong in thinking that? Obviously, Heather thinks the same. So that means it should be reconvened.
And some of the grand jury members said that they were led to believe that it would be continued. They didn't think it was it. They didn't think that was the final thing, that they were led to believe that it would be brought up again. I don't remember the exact words, but it was said somewhere in an interview, I believe.
You're welcome, Brittany. Where am I said I will never understand how a death ruled undetermined had no investigation. Well, I'll never understand how death that the person that found the body didn't even check his pulse had no investigation.
I didn't even walk in the door, but claimed, oh, he's dead, not breathing.
You know, and Susan and I want to make something clear here. In the grand scheme of things, none of this, none of us, none of them matter, right? In the end, all that matters is that Christian's case gets back in front of a grand jury, and it's
all evidence is presented.
All evidence is presented fairly and factually, and then whatever happens at that point happens. You, me, Susan, anybody on the other side, none of us matter. We are not judge and jury. All we're doing is bringing awareness to a situation that needs awareness. That's it. And they're entitled to feel how they want to feel. If they feel that Christian self-harmed, then feel that. None of this bickering, fighting, throwing shade at each other helps anyone. And it's not going to do anything in front of a grand jury. Grand jury is not going to say, hey, Whitley's uncle thinks this. Oh, well, Misty from the internet thinks this. You know, none
And
of this matters.
Attacking family members or us doesn't do anything but divert from the case. The only thing that matters are the facts in the case, and that's what we're bringing. And if you think we're wrong, come and prove us wrong.
Yes, Heather, exactly. Heather said the person who presented it to the grand jury told them to know true bill, and they would keep investigating and present it again to another grand jury.
Yes. That's what I was trying to say.
We are doing this for Christian. That's all. And, you know, and not going to lie, we're doing it because we care about the Andreacchios. Like, there's no shame in admitting that. We're also not doing anything wrong. So,
nope.
I'm just going to leave it at that for tonight. I'm done with the back and forth. I'm done with the fighting. I'm done with the vengeance. We're just here to present the facts. And if you think our facts are wrong, like Susan said, then debate us.
Yeah. Under your real name. Thanks, Heather.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for everybody who's been so supportive. I got a message this morning that said, you guys have 1,400 views. And I said, 1,400, huh? Like, what? I mean, K-Mama, they said so themselves that it was botched. There's a body cam of them including the DA, saying this was a botched investigation. The chief of police. I mean,
Yep.
you can't dispute that. That's undisputable. It's their own words.
Yep.
Good question, Jim. According to other people, that didn't happen. I wish I could just go and talk to Chief Lee, ex-Chief Lee, and ask him, did this happen? We know that it's in some narratives that, or it's in the case file that he did come in and say, wrap it up.
Well, and also every narrative written that day, just hours later, all said suicide.
Right.
So they determined suicide immediately.
I need to think, like, let's think about something for just 1 second, and then we can go. I'm sorry, it's over 2 hours. Let's just think about something. Like, we read the statements last week. We read Dylan's and Whitley's statements. If this was any other case and suicide wasn't an option, and let's say that somebody was found, let's just say that from the beginning, the investigators walked in and said, this is a murder. Like, okay, let's just pretend that that's the case, and this was never presented as a suicide. Dylan made that phone call and said, ma'am, my friend's dead in the bathroom, okay? Instead of saying this is a suicide. In the history of ever, when has someone's statement been cold, hard, factual evidence that, nope, there's nothing to see here, time to go home? When? What murderer has ever in the history said, unless they're confessing to something, right? Said, this is what happened. Here's my statement. And everybody said, okay, time to go home.
Yeah, never.
Never. So of course things are going to be questioned. You two, I say you two as if I'm speaking to them. Whitley and Dylan were the last two people that we know of that saw Christian alive. According to their statements, they are the last two people with Christian alive. So of course it's going to be questioned. It's natural to question it. Any other case, murder case, things are going to be questioned. Why do we have to just wrap it up and shut up? Sorry, I'm getting worked up. See, this is what happens. I get worked up. I'm petting my hair. Okay, I'm just rambling now, guys. So if anybody else has any questions, last call for drinks. Nothing? Alrighty, guys. We will see you next week. It's crime scene next week. And we'll, of course, go over more about Christian in the beginning. And we also may have a guest next week that nobody's heard from. Exactly. Where am I? A victim of a crime is usually interrogated harder than this case was investigated. They were never interrogated. They were allowed to give a statement and go home for the night.
And ask little snowball questions.
Why was their DNA not taken?
Why were her clothes not taken? Why did she not have blood on herself if she hugged him? Oh, the questions. Yes, a teaser. We may, I'm saying may because we haven't nailed it down yet, but we could have a witness. I'll call him a witness. Is that a good word for him, Susan? Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
I believe so.
Okay. Meredith, I always see you at the end.
It's the first comment she's made tonight, I think.
I'm
hoping you floating around in your pool with your T-Rex.
Yeah. Speaking of T-Rex, I'm just going to go ahead and make fun of myself because that's what I do. But I got this kimono thingy, and this is total like sidebar nation, as they call it on a podcast I listen to. Anyways, So I put this kimono on, and when you are short and small and you have T-Rex arms, kimonos with 3/4 length sleeves just do not work. So it looked like I had high water sleeves. So I'm like, can I wear this? I cannot imagine the comments that I would have got if I would have put that on and wore it. It does not work with T-Rex arms. But of course, it made me think of Meredith and her T-Rex. Alrighty. Oh, wait, more comments. Christian was obviously, from all accounts, a responsible man. If anyone has seen how the apartment was kept, he would have been mortified to see the condition of the apartment upon coming home. Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Maybe that's why he went straight to the bathroom. No storm prepping, had to take all the floats out of the pool. Yeah, you can't lose your ex.
Yeah, that would suck.
It's so scary.
We would do a GoFundMe, though, and get you new ones.
Oh, Heather. Tyrone. We love Tyrone, the T-Rex. We would love to do them twice a week, but we are busy ladies. Maybe in the future we can. I don't know.
Maybe we can do some just Q&A ones or something.
Look at our mod say, yeah, let's do it twice a week. Okay, you guys want to sign up for it? 2 times
then
a week?
you got to come on.
Yeah. We'll mull it over.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could jump on for like a short little thing and not have something set to talk about.
Is that what you guys want, or do you want facts? FAX. Tell us what you want. What you really, really want. Short. Adds caffeine tablets to my grocery list. Are you all going to go to court to report to us when all the cases finally get to that point?
Well, I won't go to any case except for Christian's. Yeah. Like, I don't care about the other lawsuits. Forget about those. I don't care about those. But if and when there's a murder trial, I will do what I can to be there.
Yeah, me too. We've already said that we would be there. Bye, Jim.
Bye, Jim.
Yeah, we could try to start earlier. It's just like, I don't know, like for me.
It's harder for me because of the dog, my beast. I have to walk him when there's nobody else out.
And people eat dinner, but we'll do what we can. Maybe earlier in the day, before dinner, if that works for everybody. We're just on a kind of a schedule around here. Oh yeah, maybe on. It's summer though, so people will be out camping and whatnot in the summer. We'll try to figure out a time that works.
Maybe we'll do a poll or something in the group and see what people say.
I agree, Kelly. Heather, when we say we don't care about the other cases, the lawsuits are not our business. Those are between the people involved in the lawsuits. So we will report back what we find out that we can, but as far as being there, it's not our place. And there's a spider on my glasses. Cute. Thanks, Sleuthy by proxy.
And also, Kelly, Willie told different stories that before she even left the apartment to go to the police station. She had told one cop that she was sleeping and then told another.
Did you freeze?
No, I can see me. Told one cop that she was sleeping and told a different one, or the EMT, that he was home all weekend because he lost his job, drinking and doing drugs, and they got into a fight and ran upstairs and closed the door and locked it and shot himself. Which, how'd they get in if he locked it?
Yeah.
But regardless of that, she told multiple stories before even leaving the apartment to go to the police station.
And those are all in the narratives. Like, we're not making that up. It's all in the
Yeah.
narrative. So if you want to call anybody a liar, go ahead and call those first responders liars.
Right.
And tell them that. Go to them and tell them you're a liar.
Yeah.
Because they have so much to gain from lying from this case, right?
Right. Especially when those were taken way back when the thing happened. Like, they would have no idea that something like this would have blown up like this.
And I don't mean really go to those people and call them liars. Like, don't do it.
Please don't.
Please don't do it. I'm just saying, like, I'm being facetious. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Not touching that.
No way.
Yeah, don't go find them. Please don't go find them. I shouldn't have said that, but you know what I meant. God, please nobody take me seriously.
No, your words are being twisted right now.
Oh, I know they are. Twisty, twist, twist. Okay.
All right.
We will see you guys next week, and we'll update you if we'll have 2 a week. If we decide to do one before Thursday, we'll let you know also in the group. So if you're not in the group, join. Is this where I say, my granddaughter always watches YouTube videos, and she she looks in the mirror and she plays with her toys, and she says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So is that where we put that plug in?
Yeah, that's where you do
Ring that bell. Yeah.
Make a comment if you're watching on the replay too.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Are we out?
All right. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.